All right, welcome everybody to episode number 7 of Kicks at the Castle. It's a podcast by 3 sneakerheads dedicated to that Disney lifestyle. As Walt would say, to all who listen to this happy podcast, welcome. My name's John and I'll be your host, and I'm joined by some of the rest of the Kicks at the Castle team. We got Matt.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
And Irv is in the Keys with no Wi-Fi, so he is taking the night off, but we are joined by Taylor from Fantasy Feelings. Hello.
Hi, how are you guys?
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so excited. I feel like this is such a niche group. Like, how do you find Disney and sneakerheads? Like, that's 2 of my favorite things. So, so exciting.
All right. So we've got a great show planned this week. We've got our Fit of the Week feature. We're going to get into the age-old debate of Guardians versus Tower of Terrors in our World versus Land. Then we're going to go on property where I'm going to drone on about Avengers Campus. We're then going to dip into the DMs with some questions that you guys have sent us. And then we'll give our first impressions of the first episode of Loki, no spoilers. And then we'll play a few games with Taylor before we get to know her. But first, let's jump into pickups. And Taylor, how about you lead us off? Any exciting shoe purchases this year?
Oh my gosh, yes. So easily my favorite are the bodegas. It does not get much better than this brown shoe. I actually am not gonna lie, I got a little bit emotional when I got them in the mail. You guys, I just wish like I could give these to you guys. The detail and is crazy. And because I played softball, the way that they made this look exactly like a glove, feel like a glove, the laces, I mean, are actually like my glove material that I would tighten my glove with.
That's what I'm staring at the laces on the back of the shoe, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I played catcher, so I know what you're saying.
Oh yeah, same. Oh my gosh, I was a catcher, and then in college I was an outfielder. So it's like the way, I mean, even holding it, it feels like a glove, the inside of it, the outside of it. So it's like the most sentimental thing. And I will say that it was my first pickup from a website that wasn't StockX. So it was like a major win.
So what is on the swoosh? What's the swoosh detail?
Okay, so this looks like you know that like turtle shell materials sometimes, yeah. You know, like for earrings and women's earrings. It's actually that, but it looks like that to me. But it is actually like it's not plastic, because I don't want to say that and mess it up, but that's the, you know, I'm trying to give you guys like a really good,
beautiful. Yeah.
It's really, I always look at the swoosh and I'm like, why? I wonder why they chose that, but I'm so glad they did, because I also really love turtle shell. So like the pattern is so me. And I mean, I wore these in Disney World and I got a lot of compliments. So it's your go-to shoe. I'm not going to lie. And then I got to also say my de Garçons. Okay. They're my really huge, the light is killing it. But these are my go-to when I want to wear an Air Force One. But like, you know, not just an Air Force One, you got to make it new and fresh. So those are my pickups of the year.
Nice. Those are great. That's good.
Thank you.
Anything on the horizon for you? You looking to cop anything?
Yes. So I just saw the light chocolates come out, the Nike Dunks. Those are so beautiful. I think I have a thing with brown, as you can tell. My chair, I mean, brown is all around me. So I love anything where it's like multiple shades of brown. It goes with a lot of outfits, and I actually pair black and brown a lot together, which I know is like a total fashion. Used to be a no-no, you know, it's like you cannot wear those 2 things together. Well, Taylor always wears them together. And then I've just, you know, I said it, but I don't want to mess it up. The Ama Meunier.
Yeah.
Those are just beautiful. I love an ivory shoe, but it has pops of like taupe beiges, and those are on my wish list. But I got to space myself out, you know. We can get crazy.
Right. I expect you to match a Violet Ore shirt in your next line to match the Ama Meunier.
Oh my gosh, yes. Literally one of my favorite things is like, when I'm designing, I'm like, I can pair this with this shoe. And I'm like, I should not be thinking about this. This should not be, but it is. Like when I got my pine greens, I was like, oh, this is gonna look great with this and this and this. And it's totally something that goes into the design process. And I gotta be honest, because it's so fun to pair in Disney, because there are sneakerheads that have the same mind as me, which is so fun.
Right. Absolutely.
Always got to match.
Exactly. So Matt, how
Yes.
about you? Would you pick up this week?
So, all right. So last week, I know I said I copped the court purples, the Air Jordan 1s, but I did make a trade. So I traded for these, the
Oh,
Michigan lows.
No way.
And I also got the toddler size. Shout out to Sneak Prince for the trade, and also shout out to Sneak Prince because he blessed me with a pair of these.
ooh,
So if you guys don't
those.
know, one of the Kicks of the Castle members, he owns, or Sneak Prince, he owns a brand called World United, and basically it's basically his own shoe brand. This is the Easter colorway. It's like an Air Force One silhouette. It has crazy details for a small shoe brand like this. Crazy details, has like the Easter eggs in the sole, and then like the fur.
I was gonna say, I love the
Yeah.
material is really interesting.
Yeah, crazy details, crazy details. Like Sequence is killing it with his shoe brand. And also I did get the electric green sixes.
Okay.
Oh,
I caught 3 pairs. So if you guys, I got 7, 3.5, and a 6. So if you guys need a pair, let me know.
that is
And also, I don't know if you guys heard of this brand. I copped this.
no, you didn't. Oh my no, you didn't.
I copped this for Laura, and also I got her the whole set. I got her the shorts too.
Oh, don't, no
Like, so
way.
she's gonna be in her fantasy feelings in the parks.
Oh my God. That is- okay, I was like not expecting. I was like, dang, he balled out in shoes today. That's so exciting. Oh my goodness. We would have thrown you a couple other things in. Come on, tell me these things. That's so cool. I actually love
All
that
good.
beige. I hope she really likes that. We switched to a really different new material of t-shirt, and
She was just talking about that actually. She was like, you need to tell her that this material of clothes is like insane, like compared to like the other small shops. Like this is, because I feel like most people do like comfort colors.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I thought this was. And then I looked at it, I was like, oh no, this is like really good. Like this is like it has like a vintage feel to it too.
Yes, so that's and also when she's gonna wear it, she's gonna get that mock neck like Yeezy. You know how
Yeah.
Yeezy is in that with when it comes to his t-shirts, he has that mock neck. That's what you're gonna get with that, which was really important for me. Loose fit. Yeah, we're gonna be transitioning to all of our t-shirts being like that, which is really important to me. So I'm glad that I hope she likes it. I cannot wait to see her in this outfit. So exciting.
So do we want to tell the story of our chat group this morning on trying to pick up those shoes today? Matt.
I want to
Yeah.
hear it for sure.
So apparently, yeah, like Armenier, they're known for like changing their links when their drop was. At first they had like a password page, and then I remember I think John was like, there's a password. Do you guys know the password? And I was like, oh yeah, it changes at like 9 a.m. And then right when it's 9
No.
a.m.
It changes at 6 a.m.
Oh, sorry. West Coast.
So I'm up at 5:30 trying to do this.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad for you guys because you guys gotta wake up early, and then if you guys take L's, like that's rough.
Exactly. I lost an hour of sleep to take an L this morning.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah, like this morning, like I guess apparently the way to do it is like don't refresh and just bookmark the page and keep clicking on the page after 9 or 6 and just hope for the best. And then when it came drop time, like they came out with these like 2 captchas where like the first one you have to like answer a question. I got like what is 50 minus 27 or something like that. And then the next captcha was like put a box around the biggest cat. And then I kept doing it, and then it kept airing me out. And then it switched to a plane. I'm like, all right, what is going on here? And then it finally went through, and then all of a sudden it just sold out. And I was like, okay, well, there we go.
Yeah, I got spell race car backwards, and so I did it with the space, and then I did it without the space, and then it still wouldn't take it. So then I refreshed, and it's like, what number comes before 4? And it took that, and then I got the draw box, and by the time I got in the queue, there was 9 minutes, and they sold out with it after like 2 minutes. So.
Oh my goodness.
And so then I tried on sneakers, and I ended up getting a pair of the Shanghai Blazers. I figured as long as I was entering on sneakers, I just enter on everything. So I will, although I really like them, I'll probably sell them to help pay for my Alma Maniers from StockX. I did get something in the mail. Looks awfully like, well, a whole lot like the one Matt got. I got the Michigan Dunks.
Saying this, come on.
No.
So I should have got the Michigan. Okay.
You should have got the squad shoe. I teased last week that I did pick up something on Supreme, and I've got a Disney World trip coming up, and I feel like this is a crucial accessory for Disney World summer trips. I got the Supreme umbrella. So
they did not get the chair.
It did not get the chair. No, yeah. And see, now I feel bad because I have another small shop shirt. I got a Walt's wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
This is the Stussy inspired Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
100% recycled cotton. I didn't even know it existed until he was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and we were actually chatting after the podcast, and I bought it. And he looks at his phone. Oh, thanks for the order, John.
Stop. That's so sweet. So when are you going to Disney World?
I go to Disney World. We travel on July 6th.
Oh my goodness. This is
And
so exciting.
We'll be there.
Is it
We'll be
your
there
first
for a
time?
week.
Is it your first time back since COVID and stuff?
Since 2019, it's first trip since
Oh
2019.
my goodness. This is great.
Excited on that. I know after this, I'll have to ask you how quick your shipping is, because I'm liking that Jungle Cruise shirt you got coming out Friday.
I got you. Whatever you want, you hit me up. We're trying to get John in his fantasy feelings, and I want to see the outfits.
Well, my wife would love it too. So I'm like,
yes, that's so exciting.
Because I've been going all. I've been buying every week. I've got a new vintage shirt rolling in, and my wife's like, I'm like, hey, we're gone for 8 days. I gotta have it,
Disney vintage, if you can get your hands on some good pieces, man, don't hesitate, don't stop. You just punch it, man. I love Disney vintage. It's hard to stay away, seriously.
So I was going to ask you, this doesn't really fit in with pickups, but I'm out as long as we're talking vintage. So you do the recycled feelings.
Yes.
It cannot be that easy trying to match up a vintage shirt with a brand new shirt. Like how do you make that happen? Because I'm not a seamstress kind of person, but I got to feel like that takes some talent.
It does. The talent comes from my sister. We had this idea to do a split shirt, and I wish I could give you guys a brand that was started the recycled feelings in 2019, but it wasn't as saturated as split is right now. You see a lot of split stuff, is split looking designs, not in like the Disney World, but you look at NBA fits, any NFL fits, you're seeing that split. Well, we had the idea, and I was like, you know what? I think we should do it with vintage. So we would cut it in half. My sister Tanner, I can't do that stuff. I'm the designer. I'm not really good with the sewing and stuff. I tried it ain't for me for sure. And so yeah, I think it's just the hard part is really pairing it with something that looks complementary with it. And that's super important to me. You can't just, as much as I'd love to just slap fantasy feelings on the other side, I always try to make clothes that have meaning. And so some of our first pieces I still have, thankfully, because it was like a trial and error. And so yeah, I just picked vintage. I mean, I have a whole box waiting for me to work with. So now, since we've moved to manufacturers, I'm trying to design those through manufacturers, split them in half, and find the perfect kind of vintage. So it's like, we're in a process, but I will tell you, summer recycled feelings are coming back. So yeah, stay tuned.
Nice.
For sure. If you like Star Wars, we have a lot of that. I'm so excited to get back into some of the Star Wars vintage is sick. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so we'll get more into that later, but like I said, that was just something that was totally on my mind, and since you
Yes.
brought it up, I thought it was a good place to put it. So let's jump into the fit of the week. This week, speaking of vintage, is Kajaholic of D Street Vintage. Has a great pic of himself on Avengers Campus, oddly enough. He's got the off-white dunks with a vintage Spider-Man tee. I don't know if Matt sent you that pic over, but or if you follow him, it's a pretty incredible shot in front of the graffiti wall.
Oh, I'm so excited to see it. No, I should have looked it up before I came here, but that sounds so dope. Especially, I've never seen a Spider-Man vintage piece, so that's huge.
Comes to vintage, I feel like Kaji is like he's killing it. Like especially for his shop. Like if you see some of the pieces on there on like D Street Vintage, I'm just like, holy crap.
Where
like,
does he
how
find these?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the craziest thing. I've been watching D Street Vintage for a while now. I'm like, where, like, what is your secret? I need to know, because it's some of the sickest vintage I've ever seen for sure.
I think he picked up that Spider-Man shirt from round 2 though. I think he did tag round 2 in it.
Cool. Okay, cool. So he must be in California too.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, if he went to Avengers Campus.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah. So anyway, so if anybody wants to be featured, just tag us in your pics and use the hashtag KicksattheCastle. So now we're going to get into land versus world. Each week we pick a different landmark or aspect of Walt Disney World Resort or Disneyland Resort and decide who's got it better off. And this week it's been bantied about. We actually had a listener suggest we do Guardians of the Galaxy versus Tower of Terror. And I know we've talked about it a little bit offline. Taylor, how do you feel?
This is so hard. Because I went to Disneyland for the first time in January 2020 before, life really turned upside down. So I was very lucky and thankful. I went in fully expecting not to like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I was zero expectations. I was like, I could care less, to be honest, because Tower of Terror over everything. But I really love the theming. I think what does it for me is the music. I love the music as you're dropping. That like screaming, fun rock and roll retro feeling is so good. That's what makes this question so hard. I mean, because I also feel like going into Tower of Terror, every time I do have a feeling a bit of being scared. Like, to be honest, like I've wrote it hundreds of times, but it's like I still kind of get nervous for absolutely no reason. So for that reason, I think I'm gonna go Tower of Terror, but it's like, I mean, by a hair. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a really incredible ride. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at these questions because I just love everything. I just love everything. The music is so dope. The theming, honestly, the visuals really did it for me too. Like when you stop and you look at what they're doing, I mean, that's so cool. And we just don't have that. You just scream and close your eyes.
Do you remember what song you got? Because there's 5 different songs you can get.
Okay, you're gonna have to jog my memory.
And so they have the Jackson 5, Want You Back. They've got an Elvis song. I think it's Burning Love. I think they've got Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
That was it. I know I got Hit Me With Your Best Shot. So I did go to Disneyland for 6 days. And so I did Guardians of the Galaxy arguably like 3 times a day, because we would just go back and forth. We were like, okay, we feel like doing this. It was a very like dead season. We had no idea what to expect. And so we were like, we thought we would need more time than we did, but I'm so thankful that we did, all those days and just went back and forth and really just went wherever the wind blew us. I think that's the beauty of Disneyland. But I mean, I rode Guardians of the Galaxy at least 2 to 3 times a day. It was so fun.
Well, the script is a little bit different depending on what song you get. The characters have different interactions and things.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
Yeah, so like there's one where Groot's picking something off the ground and Rocket will say that's not candy. He doesn't do that every time. And then one time when you get to the top and they go, hey, look, that's Disneyland. That shouldn't be there. Like.
Okay, I think I remember that because I had the reaction I just did when you said it. I was like, oh my God, you know, I feel like a kid again. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh. Well,
and they
cool.
actually had the movie Gunn directed the scenes for where the doors open. So they actually directed it like a movie.
Oh my goodness. So how does it flow into Avengers Campus now? Sorry, maybe I shouldn't ask a question.
So
in the
what they
middle,
did
but
is well, no, so what they did is they did some etching on the around the ground. So it's supposedly like they brought it there. And you can see that the
Okay.
cement on the ground has got where it's cut up, and it's almost like they epoxy filled it, so it's kind of colored and smooth in certain spots, and where it leads to the asphalt.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
And
cool.
right now it's blocked off at the Hyperion Theater. So all of that waiting space that would be for the Frozen show,
Yeah.
that's all tables that they're using for the shawarma stand, because they have 2 shawarma stands, and one of them's right there. They have Devon Treats, which is like a dessert cart, and there's
Okay.
tons of seating, and then but it's blocked off, so you can't go around the Hollywood land from there.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was wondering how they like made that all flow, because I know like Guardians felt tucked in a corner to me at the time, just because, you know, you think of Disney World, it just feels so much bigger at times. So I was
Right.
wondering how they made it work.
Well, if Bugs Land had already been closed, it would just be cut off, because what would
Yeah.
happen is you could go through Bugs Land to get out, and that would lead to the main drag, or you could go up and there was a pathway into Cars by Luigi's.
Oh my goodness. So no, yeah, I did not see any of Bugs Land. The only thing over there that I think I saw that was different than Guardians was Monsters. Am I right? Is that in that like back?
Monsters is back the other way, but yeah.
Yes, but yeah, the other way of what it, yeah. So that's the only thing that I remember being in that kind of back of Buena Vista kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So no.
Yeah. It was a dead end. When after they closed Bugs Land, it's a dead end. So now it's free flow. Well, it's not free flowing because they're controlling capacity, but it will be free flowing again soon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so what are your guys' choices? I need to know.
Okay, Matt, why don't you hit it?
Mission Breakout. Like, there's no competition. It's, I mean, I love Tower Terror, don't get me wrong, but I mean, compared to Mission Breakout, like it's an updated ride.
Mhm.
Like what Taylor said, like the soundtrack is amazing. What else? The projection, like on the shows, and it's like right as soon as you start on the ride, it's like, and Rocket closes the door and goes like this or whatever. It's like right then and there. Like
I was
straight
not
up.
ready for that.
Yeah.
I was not ready because we're used to like going up, stopping, getting like our minds right, getting ready. No, that is not what happens at Disneyland. They don't care about the pregame. They just, you're
Yeah,
going.
like it's straight up like
Yeah, our car doesn't drive around.
No.
yeah, because like in Tower Terror, it's like you kind of lead up to the intense part, but
Yes.
no,
They did not care about
no
that.
waiting game in Mission Breakout. And
So-
also Monsters After Dark. Like nothing beats that as well.
So
I don't
yeah,
know if you know, but
so Taylor, they do that at Disneyland for Halloween. They'll retheme it, and it's basically a new program, and it's
Oh,
Monsters After Dark, where they're like they're looking for Groot. I think Rocket's trying to find Groot, and there's monsters
Yeah.
around, and so they shut it down for like a half hour. I think they reset it, reload the program, and then so after 6 p.m. it's Monsters After Dark.
oh no way. That's so cool. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's such a cool ride. I was really not expecting to care about it at all, but I do think that being on a coaster or, you know, drop ride with music just hits different. There is something really cool about the music theming it, and I loved it.
No, you're right, because I could tell you, I don't even know how long ago it was. It's probably been 15 years. I could look it up. But they did a thing where they overlaid Space Mountain and California Screaming with Red Hot Chili Pepper soundtracks. And it made they did that for a little while, and it made the rides totally different. It was I mean, same track, but it was just a different feel.
Yes. So Disney, if you're listening, we really like the music on rides. So if you could do that some more, that would be really cool. No, it just gives like a very, it's just a cool feeling. I loved that element. And that's why a huge reason why I love Rock and Roller Coaster, to be honest. I just love going to like the rhythm of that music, and it's so cool. Loving an Elevator is my favorite cycle through. It's so dope.
So for me, I don't ride Tower of Terror enough to like it's been 2 years since I've ridden it, and it's it's not like it's not one of those things where I go ride it 3 or 4 times when I'm there. I ride it, I hardly ever ride it. So I would say Guardians, but I actually did unintentional homework on this. On 2 nights ago, I watched the last episode of Imagineering, the series on Disney Plus, because I wanted to see how they did the Spider-Man flying over Avengers Campus.
Yes.
And I remember them covering that in the last episode. So I wanted to watch it because I kept telling my wife, I'm like, that's not a real person, is it? It's not a real person, is it? And so I wanted to watch to see what it is. And in that one, they actually cover the retheming of the Tower of Terror to Guardians of the Galaxy. That was part of the thing. And they said, we've got a box. It does 2 things. It goes up and it goes down.
Yeah.
Is also, how do we elicit a different emotion? And they said one of the things was, if you've got a baby and you give them a little toss and they giggle, right? Right? So how do we get this to do that? So that was their goal. And they mentioned that when you go to Tower of Terror, you're there to be scared. And so it's sharp and sudden, whereas it's more of a gentle bouncing. And so they actually programmed it to elicit a different emotion.
You are kidding me. Oh
Wow.
my.
That is, what show was that?
That was the
It was,
Imagineering. It's the last, it's the basically a cover. It starts with Shanghai Disney, which my wife now wants to go to Shanghai Disney because it's the first time she watched that. She said, I just have to figure out how to make the plane rides only 8 hours. So I'm like, if I go to Hawaii and then Japan and then
Yes.
Shanghai, maybe. Then I could get Tokyo and Shanghai Disney out of her in one trip.
Yeah, that would be really dope. No, I mean, that's why I kind of said it's like, I think that's why it's hard to pick between the two, because yes, they're both dropping rides, but they have such different feelings. Like I feel something completely different. Like I feel more like joyful and fun on Guardians, where I feel a little bit slightly terrified. I actually almost lost my purse last time, so I was for real terrified. And it's like, it's definitely 2 different emotions. So it's hard.
It just shows you how smart those Imagineers are. That's what they wanted you to feel.
I was gonna say they're intentional. I mean, everything that they do is intentional. It's not on accident or anything like that, which is so cool. That's why, these questions will forever be going, and there's not a right answer. One day it could be Guardians for me, one day it could be the other, it could be Tower of Terror, because it's just 2 different feelings, which is how they keep pulling you to different parks.
Exactly. Like I said, I can't wait to go ride Tower of Terror in a month. That's definitely going to be one of the first ones I hit.
So cool.
Anyway,
if we're talking Tower of Terror Disneyland versus Disney World, I'm gonna say Disney World.
Well, yeah, because it's.
I've heard that.
Well, we don't have the footprint. Like I said, our cars are already loaded in the shaft, ready to roll.
Yeah. Like just the part going into the drop. Yeah, that definitely surpasses Disneyland.
Yeah, okay. So you must have went as a kid then, because how long have they had Guardians?
5 years.
Okay. Oh, not a kid. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm being dramatic.
I mean, it feels like it's around that time, maybe a little bit before. I mean, they knew they were going to build
like
Adventures Campus when they did that.
17, maybe.
Oh,
right?
okay.
2016, maybe 20. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but not too long.
Oh my gosh,
it hasn't been too long.
I just feel like I've only seen the Guardians, when I really got into the Disney community and stuff and all that. Because I actually went to Disneyland in 2016, but I only went to Disneyland. I didn't go to California Adventure. I messed up. So I don't even count that trip, to be honest. I don't even count it.
All right. Well, so anyway, if anybody's got any suggestions for future editions of Land vs. World, send them on over. Now let's get on property. And like I said, I'm going to drone on. So why don't we hear from Matt? Matt, did you make it on this week?
I did, but still no reservations yet. I know, disappointing, guys. I'm so sorry. But next week we are planning on going to Blizzard Beach. So I may have some fun stories for you next week. But I did go to Springs, of course, and we went to the Hangar Bar, Chuckling's Hangar Bar. Got the flatbread. I think it was like with like figs and dates. Sounds weird, and like brie cheese and like balsamic vinegar. I don't know, but it was like sweet, salty. It was pretty good. We got chips and queso, and then a couple of days ago, I had dinner at the Wave at Contemporary,
Yeah.
and I got crab cakes, and it was like a spinach and gnocchi soup. And for dessert, we got it was like a chocolate flight. I think it was like bread pudding, creme brulee, and like a German chocolate cake, which was fire. The bread pudding out of the flight was probably my favorite.
Oh my goodness. The Wave is so good. I love the Wave.
It's underrated, honestly.
Yes, I agree. It's so good.
How about you, Taylor? You get on property this week? Or how often do you go? Are you close by? Do you go
Oh,
quite a
how
bit?
often do I go?
Yeah.
No, I am in good old Kentucky, just outside of Lexington. In a normal year, I would say at least once to twice every quarter. You know, we really try, even if it's just for a weekend, a long weekend, we really try to make it out. The last time I was there was in April, the very end of April. And we celebrated my best friend's birthday, and she also works here at Fantasy Feelings. And it was so good. It was so good. We got reservations for every park, and it's really nice when you can just park hop now. And we had
You stay on property, or do you?
Yes. So I'm a Riviera girl. I love the Riviera. I love that you can do the Skyliner to Epcot and to Hollywood. I mean, that's just so convenient, so easy. And those are like two of my favorite parks anyway. So that's where I spend like a lot of the park hopping time. I feel like if I'm park hopping, it's to one of those.
Okay.
So yeah, I love the Riviera. And I'm also a huge Contemporary gal. Actually, I love staying at the Contemporary because of the Wave, and I love California Grill. Also, where are you staying when you go?
I'm staying at what's the pirate kind of themed one?
Oh, the
Caribbean Beach.
Caribbean Beach. Yeah.
Caribbean Beach.
Oh, that's great. You and your wife need to try the Topolino's, the rooftop bar at the Riviera. It's really, really good. I promise you.
So
It's
good.
It's so
I went
good.
there on Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Is that the seafood
So
place?
good. I mean, they have seafood there. I wouldn't say it's like a full seafood restaurant. I mean, I got like I think it's the Dover sole or sole fish.
Yes, I got that too.
It was so good. I don't know
So
what they did to it. It's like, and the potatoes in it. Oh my God, it's so good.
I'm serious. Topolino's, drinks, food, everything, dessert. I mean, it is top tier. Like, I love that place. Service also is incredible. I literally have a friend now that works, he's a waiter, but I mean, he knows me, which is kind of embarrassing because I'm not even a local. So it's like, dang, you spent a lot of time there, but it's really, really good. Trust me. You got to go to Topolino's.
All right.
And those reservations open up. So
You kept that reservation, right, John?
I did.
Okay, because I remember you were saying like you had to cancel some.
I canceled a few. I actually got one because my wife like previews the menus and then decides. That's the other thing I was telling Matt is I was looking at how many $200 dinners I have planned. It's like every night.
facts. That's so funny.
It's like, you can only eat park food for so long. You need a good meal every now and then.
Yeah.
You do. I am becoming less of a park like food person, and I just go to somewhere like I just don't eat a lot of quick service. I'll go to Springs or I'll go to like something in the hotel. Yeah, I'm becoming kind of spoiled like that. I just get tired of the fries, and I'm actually have a gluten allergy, so it just limits what you can get at certain places in the park. And so
Are they getting better at that? It feels like there's a lot of allergy-free menus I've seen.
they're doing so much better. There's a lot of salads, and a lot of places have like the other fryers, so you don't have to worry about the cross contamination. Like, genuinely, A lot of places are really good. Batu is actually really great and has great gluten-free options. So yeah, it's getting better, but it's the same as you guys. It's like you can only do park food so much. I want the soul. I want the chocolate flight, even though I can't eat that. But you want the good stuff sometimes that just, it can be on a long vacation like you're doing. It's like, whoo, I just need like a good meal. And then I'm ready to park somewhere.
Yeah, Disney is definitely accommodating with, especially if you have like allergies. Like all you have to do is like tell your server, and then they'll tell the chef, and then the chef will probably whip something up that's not even on the menu.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you do feel very secure. That's one of that, and like a hometown restaurant in Lexington is about the only places I feel super comfortable where I'm like, okay, they know and understand that a gluten allergy is not just a fad on Pinterest. I promise. Like I don't want to be doing this, to be honest. So Disney takes it so serious. And like you said, they will like make something for me. They're like, what are you in the mood for? And I'm like, I don't know, some salad and chicken. Okay, I'll make you something. It's so great. They're
That's
so
awesome.
fantastic. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're getting great.
Nice. So when's your next trip out?
So I believe we're gonna do like a July, in August, and a September. I think there's gonna be a couple times when we're hitting month to month. I actually, fun fact about me, I have epilepsy, and so I live at home for the moment. And so my dad owns trucks and restores them, and like takes vintage trucks, like vintage Peterbilts. And so he restored one and got it all painted. So they go to truck shows and I go to Disney. So they have a couple truck shows coming up, and I'm gonna go bounce to Disney while they're doing that. So
awesome.
yes, hopefully in August and September for sure. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. All right. So as I mentioned, I did hit Avengers Campus on Sunday. So that was the third day it was open. And I made the mistake of watching all of the Instagrammers, influencers, and seeing, basically building it all up as like, got to get there at 4 a.m. and just, it's like, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go to California Adventure. And if I don't get in, I'm just going to go to Disneyland because we can park hop at 1 o'clock when you get a park hopper. So I decided I didn't want to, like I said, I'm a 90-minute drive. The last thing I want to do is get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to Disneyland to stand in line for 3 hours before they open. So I like to park on the harbor side instead of parking. So right now they are not running trams. So I tried to park at the Anaheim Hotel, which is where I usually park if my parking's not included with my pass. And at 8 o'clock I got there and they were sold out. So I'm giving you a time frame. So they open at 9. So I'm there at 8. I drive around Anaheim to get to the parking structure side. I park. It probably took me 15 minutes to get through the line and park. It was super. There was like no traffic. I mean, there were cars there, and I walked the mile. It was almost a full mile from my car to do the tram walk. I was in the park at 9:10. So I didn't wait in line 1 minute, and I didn't have to get up at 2 a.m. And so at that point, the line to get into Avengers Campus was 5 hours. So I decided, well, what are the wait times? Midway Mania, 20 minutes. Okay, let's go do that. Radiator Springs, 45 minutes. Okay, let's go do that. Let's go have breakfast we had an early lunch at Flo's. Did all that stuff, and we just said, you know what, because I missed the boarding group. That was the thing. When we were driving up, I tried to get the boarding group, because if you get the boarding group, you can go into the campus. 12 o'clock came. We were actually sitting down at Flo's. We didn't get a boarding group. And I said, well, at 1 o'clock, let's bounce over to Disneyland. And I just said, we'll come back at like 7 and see what it looks like. We ended up, someone recognized me in Batu and said, hey, try it at 5:30. They said, don't wait till 7. They said, just go, because it's starting to get dark at that point. Said it's a little bit more, because they had been there the day before. Went over at 5:30 and it was an hour wait. And that was it. So got in. There was still windows available to order food. So I got from the tasting lab, I got the Regulator, which is a beer with Patron and
Oh.
and
Whoa.
mango boba. My daughter got a, what is it? The fizz. What is it called? I got it. Have my order up. The particle fizz. So it's like a hard seltzer with boba in it, and that was fun doing that. And the guy at the test kitchen enjoyed my. He liked my origin story ones that I was wearing. He was.
Oh, cool.
He was all about. That was nice. I actually had several people notice that my shoes, which I had a. It's not a vintage Marvel tee because I think it's 2002, so it's got to be 20 years old to be vintage, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds, I don't know. Depends on what it is, because that sounds pretty solid though.
Yeah. Yeah. I found a Spider-Man tee on Depop, and it still had tags on it too. So that was great.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it was very cool. So we got to go in and we got some pictures taken. I did not get to ride the web slingers attraction. I heard they were taking walk-ups selectively. I actually went by there and asked twice and was told no. So I don't know, probably depended on the queue length. If I'd have stalked it, I might have been able to get in line. Checked out the web accessories, and they are just printing money, just so you know. Okay, if anybody's worried about Disney right now, they're like, I was in line for Guardians, and there was a family of 5, and it was a family of 6. They had 3 boys. All 3 boys had the attachment web slingers. They had the spider bots. They had the backpacks that held the spider box. They had the Spider-Man sweatshirts on, and the dad and the mom had Avengers sweatshirts. I was just looking at them. I was like, seriously, how much money they spent in that store.
Oh.
And it was north of $500. So we did ride Guardians. The wait for Guardians, once you get inside, it's like 20 minutes. So yes, so the wait in line isn't wasted. Right. And just tons of character interactions. Ant-Man was over by one of the vehicles. Thor came out and was talking to basically they kind of stand on a bench kind of thing, and then they'll talk to the crowd, and people can move in front of them and get a picture. They weren't really shooing you away from the characters, which was nice. I mean, you could tell they wanted space. We didn't do the Doctor Strange show. They do a demonstration. Like I said, we'll go back and explore more, but it was neat to go in and see the theming. We got to see the stunt show where Spider-Man flies over the buildings.
The first time I saw that, I thought that was fake. I was like, they did not do this. They did. Is it cool? Is it so cool?
It is. It's very well themed. And, and I think the biggest compliment I could give the Imagineers is when I walked out and I'm back on that main street, I'm like, that's right, I'm in California Adventure. Like, it's like that feeling when you walk out of Batu and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in Disney.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to ask, like, comparatively, I feel like Batu is like one of the most like immersive things they have done in a long time, in my opinion. Like comparatively, like how does Avengers Campus fit in and compare,
It compares very well. Obviously it's not as big. And it's where it gets weak is if you go out on the Hyperion theater side, it's just like it's gone. They just, it's not like you've got the tunnel transitions that you have on Galaxy's Edge, which, it takes your sight line away. And then then it opens up in front of you. So the backside, and it was funny is my wife doesn't do Guardians. So my daughter and I were going on there, and I'm like, oh, there's benches over. She's like, I always sit over there. She said, it doesn't feel like Avengers Campus. I want to sit over here so I can, and like Loki walked by while she was sitting there. And so she's like, yeah, I want to be in the campus. I don't want to be by Hyperion Theater,
Yeah.
So the backside theming, the transition is abrupt.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas on the front, it's kind of a mix between the industrial warehouse feel where the ride is and the bathrooms. It's kind of a Stark warehouse, where then you've got the Avengers headquarters, which is high tech, and the PIM test kitchen. That's all high tech. So it's kind of a blend between those. And then in the transition is that mystical area where they do the Doctor Strange show.
Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie.
Man, shout out to Imagineers, man.
Yeah, no, they did it. It's awesome. I just, like I said, I feel like sometimes the influencers really hype it up, and it's like, how enjoyable is your day if you have to start at 3 a.m.? I don't need to be the first one, standing at the gate, because, like I said, I didn't wait in line. Like I said, I walked from my car I think there was probably 4 people in front of me at the gate when I got there. I know the hours are posted as 9. I think they're letting people in at like 8:15. So it kind of lets that, and I think the reason they do that is because the lines build up so much on the harbor side. It's, it goes down the street. They can only wrap it around so much around that bus area now.
Mhm. I feel like I take the same mindset as you. I'm like, I will get to it at some point. I just don't want to wait in line. I've always had that like mentality. I mean, I was actually working when Toy Story Mania opened, and I couldn't even, I think we were blacked out for a couple days, not as bad as it is right now or when Galaxy's Edge opened, but I was like, I refuse to wait in this long line. Like, I will see it one day. I'll get there one day, and it's not going to be in a 5-hour line. I just can't, I don't have the heart for that,
Well, and I didn't want to pin my hopes for the day on getting a virtual queue.
Yes, that's hard. Yeah.
So I just, we kind of went with a plan A and a plan B, and we went with plan B, and it worked out great. We had a fun time. So.
I haven't looked up anything about the Spider-Man thing. I don't even know what it's called, because I did the same thing with Rise of the Resistance. I was like, I don't want to know a single thing. I like being surprised for the first time, so I've like tried to stay away from like videos and spoilers. I know that people keep posting something of like with Tom Holland. No, is that his name?
The Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap. No, but I know that I'm just like, I'll tap through. I'm like, I cannot look at this. I don't want to spoilers. But yeah. I've heard it's really great. I don't know.
I haven't done anything with the ride. I haven't looked it up. I'm going back on the 30th, and so I'm actually starting in Disneyland, so I don't get to try for the 7:00 queue. So hopefully the 12 o'clock treats me good. But I'll go over and I'll walk through the campus, and this time I'll probably get some food. We just had drinks, so I'll probably check out the kitchen and get a sandwich or something and see what they've had there. And I didn't get a snack. I was all snacked out by the time I got there, so I didn't even go to the Tavon Treats.
Been there, done that. That's so funny, but that's so great you got to go in and walk through it. I mean, I feel like even my first time through Galaxy's Edge, I was like, just being in this like completely new atmosphere was good enough for me. I mean, I guess I'm like really easily like pleased. I don't really know, but I just love like being in a new atmosphere, and you're just like, gosh, the work that they put into this to make me feel this way, like I just think it's really cool.
Well, and the other thing is I like, I was a big Star Wars guy as a kid. I mean, I was 8 years old when the original came out, so I was right in that wheelhouse. And so, obviously when I go 12-year-old me is, thrilled, but I almost like watching it through a kid's eye. I like watching the characters interact with the kids, and, get a drink and hang out and, walk around and just enjoy people watching a little bit is always fun.
Yes, when I go to Galaxy's Edge to see people's reactions to like, who's out there like working on, sometimes Ray and Chewie, and just seeing the kids, they're like, oh my God, Dad, Mom, do you see that? It's just the cutest freaking thing. I love Galaxy's Edge. I just love hanging out there. The sounds, the characters walking through, everything. The only thing I haven't done is Oga's. Every time I try to get a freaking pass, and I just never can get a reservation.
One of the things I always try to do is a lot of times it's just my wife and I'll look for reservations for one, because they let you bring an extra person.
I knew there was a reason I wanted to do this podcast.
That also works with the Lamplight Lounge, because that's sometimes the easiest way to get a reservation there.
No freaking way. Okay, I cannot wait to tell my best friend this. She's gonna freak out. Okay.
Yeah. So Olga's, I've gotten many reservations getting a party of one at Olga's.
No freaking way.
Yep.
I just feel like I've heard that the Disneyland Oga's is really, really dope. I think ours is a little bit smaller for some reason. I don't know why I've heard that.
So when so they opened ours first. So when I went to Disney World in 2019, they were doing the past member previews. So it wasn't open to the general public yet. So I have not been in Batu. I think the only difference that I've really heard of is that you guys have alcohol in your blue and green milk.
Yeah, which do not get the tequila. Do not do it.
Oh, don't do it. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
I'm being serious. Do not get the green milk with the tequila. I love
Really?
margaritas. I love tequila. It's not it.
It's not
Get the
it.
blue with the rum. It's better, but it's just, I mean, you can back me up out here. I mean, it's just not. Have you tried it?
I have not. No,
Oh,
I don't drink anymore, so I don't. Yeah, I don't pay attention.
okay. That's good. Oh, that's
Well-
literally, that's a blessing because it is truly not good. I've been to both. There's not much difference. Like even in size wise, I think when you're there, you really do feel immersed in Galaxy's Edge. And I just don't think that there's not much difference. It's really, they did a great job.
Well, the real
Especially-
question is there an alcoholic version of the Tatooine Sunset? Because I enjoy that drink, which is basically an Arnold Palmer with something else in it. But
Is that it? Is that at Oga's?
no, that's at Ronto Roasters.
Oh, I don't know. Do you know?
I have no idea. I know the moof juice. Moof juice is
I
fire.
feel like I would have tried that, John. I really do. Like, I think I would have gotten that if I saw it on the menu. I
Yeah,
don't
there's a
think-
drink. It's a Tatooine Sunset. It's non-alcoholic, but I'm like, I was wondering if you guys have an alcoholic version, but
Oh, that's so they don't do alcohol in your Galaxy's Edge except
just in the cantina.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I wonder why they do that.
And I know my go-to drink was always the Spice Runner, but I heard they don't have that anymore.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Well,
But
you're
our
gonna-
Oga's is closed right now anyway. I heard there. I think it's going to open on the 18th, 16th, 18th. I actually need to check on that because I think June 14th they open reservations for a few more restaurants. Where our state's reopening in 5 days, so
Oh.
I think there's gonna be some big changes with
Oh.
occupancy. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I've also heard that temperature checks are going to go away on the 15th as well.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't think WDW is doing temperature checks anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not for a while now. Like a good month and a half.
I think
wow.
Florida had it right all along. I mean, like
Yeah.
clearly.
That's
So anyway,
crazy.
all
Well,
right.
I hope you have a great time in WDW. That's crazy. That's so exciting.
No, I'm excited to go. So anyway, so has anybody watched Loki? Has anybody checked out the new series on Disney Plus?
So my sister did. She's a crazy newfound Marvel fan. She's like in that honeymoon phase.
Okay.
Yeah. So she loves it. She loved it. I can't say much about it. Okay, let's just be honest. I have not seen many Marvel movies. I've seen the Iron Mans and I've just started on the Captain Americas.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because I see that you do a lot of Star Wars stuff with your line, but I just saw you just doing your first Avengers shirt. I saw that. I really like that.
Yes.
It's a very cool
So
thing.
the story is I did not watch Star Wars at all growing up. Watched it right when quarantine hit. Became a major fan overnight. No, I genuinely absolutely adore Star Wars. Like I really feel bad for years for thinking it was nerdy. Like I hate what I did to myself, to be honest. It's beautiful. So the thing with Marvel is that so we're about 4 times as busy and there's about 3 times or more as movies. So it's like, oh my gosh. So on my vacation, I'm literally planning to watch Marvel movies as like fun homework. I already know some spoilers, so I'm glad about it because I'm quite emotional during movies. So I'm glad I'm mentally prepared for some things. But yeah, we are really starting to do a lot of Marvel stuff thanks to Tanner. And it's really great. Our other designer is great with Marvel. So we have a Falcon coming out. We have a Loki coming out that I'm obsessed with. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be crazy. So yeah, but Tanner, I can speak for her and say she loved the first episode and loves the retro feeling. And she said it already related to WandaVision somehow. They had a hint about it. So it's which by the way, she loved WandaVision too. So
Right.
So I'm getting my toes in the water, you know. I got through Star Wars and I'm a huge fan, and so yeah, we're working on it.
Nice. Matt,
How's
did
you
you give
guys?
it, Matt, did you give it a watch?
I didn't watch it yet.
Didn't watch yet. Okay, so I mean, the first episode is all set up.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there's not, you know, I'm not going to spoil anything. Of course, this is going to air in a week and a half, so people have had 2 weeks to watch it anyway, so I'm not worried about spoiling. But so it's set up, and the cool thing about it is it's 2012 Loki. It's not Infinity War Loki, who's had some redemption from the Thor Ragnarok movie, and then what happens to him at the beginning of Infinity War. You're talking about this happens the same day as the attack on New York in Avengers 1, because he falls into this wormhole because he finds this, you know, he gets the Tesseract. So it's a completely different Loki than what you saw in the last couple of movies. And it's cool how he's got that attitude, not the redeemed Loki.
Okay.
The other thing that is amazing is if anybody likes Owen Williams' character in Wedding Crashers, he basically is playing that guy.
Oh no way.
He is like the fast talking, sarcastic. It's hilarious. And you know, he works for the TVA, which is the Time Variance Authority. And you know, he's basically, he's got a different role in the grand scheme of things, but in this, he's trying to find out what makes Loki tick in the first episode. You know, like Loki doesn't know that his mom's dead at this point in time. And he doesn't know that he's dead, you know, because this is 2012 Loki. So it's interesting. So basically the first episode is getting Loki up to speed of where the timeline is.
So time out, does Loki die?
Well, he dies a couple times.
Okay. It's as easy as that. Okay. I'm
He's
here. No, Tanner talks about stuff. I'm like, I think I'm just gonna have to watch this for real. I think multiple people die.
Lots of people die.
Multiple times.
In the first episode?
No.
In Marvel.
In the Loki series.
Okay.
I'm talking about the backstory of Loki.
Right.
As far as what happens to him in Infinity War and what happens to him in Endgame.
I like any shows that give like a background, like go back in time and give us some like premise and stuff. I think that's always really
well. The other neat thing is that there's actually a cartoon, because Loki doesn't know where he is, and so he's like in a DMV is really what it is. Like when you said the retro office vibe, it's, you know what it reminds me of almost is like Lost. So it's like, you know, you've got this stupid old computer that's keeping whatever from blowing up, and it's like these guys are sitting in there and like 1980s PCs, and it looks like it's 1960 decor. And it's like he walks into this room and there's all these ropes set up to get to the counter, and they're like, there's like one other person, like, take a number, you know. And so he's like, what am I doing here? And then like a TV pops up with a cartoon that tells him where he is. Like, you're in the TVA, and it talks about how there's all these competing timelines. It's a really fun series.
that's so exciting.
But I'm not gonna lie, Taylor, if you haven't seen Infinity War and Endgame, you're probably gonna be a little lost on it.
No, that's what I wasn't planning on doing. I was planning on going through all the movies and then hitting WandaVision and then doing the whole Loki thing. So yeah, it's just that I feel like more than Star Wars, Marvel is like, you really got to plan for this because there's a lot of movies.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
But the storytelling, you can tell right now that what they're doing now is laying the groundwork for the next Infinity War in 10 years.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about all these competing timelines that are merging together. And so that's a way that you could bring the X-Men in with all of your other Marvel heroes.
I love it.
Or where you could possibly have a timeline where Iron Man didn't die and have him come back. And, you know, I mean, there's, you know,
if you want honesty, the only reason I did not watch Avengers and have been so insistent on it because I heard Iron Man died. I was like, it's a no from me. I'm mad. I'm upset. I haven't even watched the movies and I am crying. I grew up watching like the Iron Mans and X-Men. So those like truly with my best friend and her family. And so I had a heart for Iron Man like way before my sister started watching Marvel. When you watched
Well, I think the way they did it really, it was full circle for him, like, I mean,
Yeah.
even when the end, when, Pepper says, now you can rest, I mean, it was a hero send off. I mean, I thought that was
Come
excellent.
to this podcast to cry, John. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
First crier on the
no.
podcast.
I love that title. That's great. No, I really love Iron Man and Pepper. So
Yeah, you know what? You're right. We have the name of the name of this week's episode is I didn't come here to cry.
No, I'm not gonna lie. When we saw Endgame, like Laura cried at the very end. I was like,
how can you not?
Yeah.
Truly, when I watched, because my sister had watched everything, so she was like, I don't know if this was at the end of Endgame, so I'm sorry if I'm like off the timeline. We're just talking about crying, but also a good title. But I watched Captain America's last scene with Peggy. Obviously, that's our shirt inspiration. And I mean, that moment mixed with the song, mixed with their relationship, I mean, I was like a freaking bowl of tears over here. And I had to watch it multiple times for my job. Like literally, I'm designing this shirt and I'm like, okay, what quote will hit best? What song will, I had to literally do the lyrics to the song because it's such an old song.
Right.
It
Well,
doesn't
and as you watch the other movies, you'll see his, relationship with Peggy.
Oh, I mean, I'm already into it because we watched the first Captain America and we started Winter Soldier. And so I had to watch because I needed some premise. I think that when I make clothes, I always hit on emotions when I just don't need to all the time, but I do it anyway.
Right.
And so I watched the scene where he goes to visit her when she's older.
Mhm.
A mess. And then I watched their dancing scene, knowing what Tanner let me know what he chose to do, sorry, any spoilers. So I knew the backstory of
I think if a movie's 7 years old, I don't think it counts as a spoiler.
Okay. I always feel bad, but it's like I knew what he chose and why he chose it, and so
Right.
I mean, I was a freaking bowl of tears over here. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to watch these movies. I don't know how I'm going to make it.
It's it's very good storytelling. It really is.
Yeah, I do. I think they have great storytelling. I really do.
So there is one other Disney Plus thing I was just going to mention, and especially because we were talking about the Imagineering series that they did when it was last year. This summer on the 6th, I think on July 16th, they're dropping Behind the Attraction.
Yes.
And I guess they're going to drop all the episodes at the same time. I am super excited to see that.
Excited. What do you guys want to see on there? What are you wanting to see?
Well,
All of
honestly,
it.
it's like, one of the things from the Imagineering was the Jungle Cruise, like watching how they drove trucks through that attraction, seeing how it was going to lay out. But I want to see something else. Like, like we saw a big thing on the Matterhorn being built. I don't need to see that again.
Yes.
So I don't know what I think it's a nostalgia thing. Whatever it is, I hope it's old.
Okay.
I hope there's 60s footage, that kind
So
of thing.
you don't want the new stuff. You don't want to know the rise of the resistance. You want to know some of the vintage, like how the heck they made it work then.
Yeah, especially with the like you think about how Imagineering started. Like, you look at, like the Lincoln, that robot was built in the 60s.
Crazy. I mean, and you think, I think this was in the Imagineering story as well, that Pirates was supposed to be a wax museum you walk through.
Right.
And it was actually, right when he made Carousel of Progress, he was like, okay, no, we got to do Pirates like this. Like we did these animatronics. And so you literally then learned how Carousel of Progress animatronics worked. And I actually worked at Carousel Progress in Disney World, and it has the exact same mechanics as it did in the freaking 70s and 60s. And because that's how it's like programmed, it's crazy. So I do hope that they tell us, because, you know, the technology we have now, it is inspiring. I could never do it, but it's like they really thought outside of the box. You know, they were the groundwork for what we can do now, especially with animatronics. And, you know, a guy literally acted out and reacted to stuff. And then that's how they got John in Carousel of Progress. I mean, are you kidding me? It's so cool. So I'm intrigued. I'm ready for this. I will.
Well, I'm wondering how many episodes it's going to be. I mean, I'm hoping it's, 10, but, I don't know if that's optimistic. It seems like the Marvel stuff is like 6. But I want to know, how is it The Rock gets to be the guy to do this? Like, when I think nostalgia Disney, why is The Rock the producer?
I don't really know.
Oh, he's the producer of the show?
Yeah, he's I don't know, maybe it's his production company, maybe he's really not involved, but
Okay.
his
I
name
had no
was
idea.
on the Disney Plus post.
Well, maybe he got more involved after his role in the Jungle Cruise, or, I'm not really sure. That's a great question. And it's not like, Julie Andrews does a lot of the voicing, I feel like, in Disney. Well, that's easy
Yeah.
because she just has the most perfect voice. I mean, it's
Right.
not like The Rock is like this. I wonder what's going on there. I don't know. I'm going to
Anyway.
trust them. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
I'm shooting. I would love 10 episodes. I would love to hit. I'd also like to hit some of the stuff in the other parks too. Like, I'm talking like Tokyo and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for, other parks outside of Walt Disney World, which is
No, that's
fun.
true, because there's a lot of other things that, we don't have. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So, all right. Well, anyway, this is the point where we play a couple games. If you are ready, I've got some Disney or Datney questions lined up for you.
Okay.
That way we can fully build your Disney profile.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Dole Whip or Mickey Pretzel?
Dole Whip.
Dole Whip. All right.
Instantly.
Haunted Mansion or Pirates?
Haunted Pirates.
Haunted Pirates?
Pirates.
All right. Magic Kingdom or Disneyland?
Disneyland all day.
Jordan 1s or Air Force 1s?
Jordan 1s.
Okay. Grand Fiesta Tour or Living with the Land?
Grand Fiesta Tour. I freaking love that ride.
Okay. Dinosaur or Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones by far.
Okay. Star Tours or Smuggler's Run?
Star Tours, but barely. They're both really rough. Man, you feel trippy after that. Both of them.
All right. Thunder Mountain or Space Mountain?
Thunder Mountain.
Okay. Jack Skellington or Jack Sparrow?
Jack Sparrow. I love him.
Now this is kind of a Disneyland question because they're in the same park in Disneyland. Fireworks from Main Street or fireworks from Batu?
Oh my goodness. Oh, so I haven't done them in Batu. I feel like I would love that.
You
to
need
be
that
honest.
because they're over the mountains.
Oh, I bet that's really beautiful. I never thought that you guys had that over us. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
nice.
that's on my bucket list. That's a really dope question. I love that.
All right. Festival of the Lion King or Fantasmic?
Oh, Phantasmic. I love Phantasmic.
Okay. Monorail or Skyliner?
Skyliner. I'm a
Okay.
huge Skyliner fan.
Geodesic Sphere or Tree of Life?
Tree of Life.
Okay. Peter Pan's Flight or It's a Small World?
Peter Pan's Flight.
All right. The light side or the dark side?
I'm a dark girl. Dark side.
All right. All
Dark
right.
side.
Okay. Green milk or blue milk?
Oh God. I'm thinking blue. I'll go with blue. If I gotta choose, I'm going blue.
All right. The hitchhiking ghost or the Hatbox Ghost?
Oh my gosh, hitchhiking ghosts. Come on. They're so dope.
Okay. A giant Mickey pumpkin on Main Street or the giant Christmas tree?
Oh, I've never seen the giant pumpkin, but it's seriously on my bucket list because you guys have that. It reminds me of Halloween Town. I would choose that. I really
Okay.
love that.
All right. Heroes or villains?
Villains.
Okay. And rope drop or fireworks?
Oh my gosh, this one's really tough. Fireworks.
Fireworks. All
I
right.
love closing a park.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, I think you did well on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Matt's-
how do I do, guys?
Yeah.
Do I pass?
You pass for sure.
Okay, cool.
So, but now the question is, Matt's got some trivia for you. So I don't know if he's gonna let you off that easy.
I know you post a lot of like Disney history stuff, so I
Yeah.
decided to go with some trivia questions.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's mostly like park trivia.
Okay.
But all right, you ready?
Not really, but yes, I'm excited.
All right. What year did Magic Kingdom open?
Oh, 1971.
What year did Disneyland open?
55.
How many pavilions are in Epcot's World Showcase?
12. No?
It's 11.
Oh man. They've been talking about Brazil. Oh my, okay, cool. 11.
What was Mickey Mouse's original name before Lillian made Walt change it?
It's that feeling when you know. Mortimer Mouse.
Yes.
Let's go.
What was the first international Disney park?
Paris. No?
That's what I thought too. I thought it was Paris, but
Was
it's
it
actually
Tokyo?
it's Tokyo.
It's Tokyo. Okay, my
Tokyo.
bad.
Which ride is the only ride at every Disney park?
Which ride is the only ride at every Disney park?
John, do you know this one?
Oh,
I think I've got 2. I think I've narrowed it down to 2. But I don't know if this is right. I'm gonna shoot for Haunted Mansion.
there's
No.
no Haunted Mansion in Shanghai.
Dang
How about Dumbo?
John's right.
What?
Yeah, there's a Dumbo in every single Disney park.
I was gonna say that
I
or the
was
carousel,
what I was thinking of. Really? Why?
Yep.
because there's no Small World. I think at Shanghai also.
I
They said
knew-
they broke a lot of rules when they did Shanghai.
Really? I really thought it was also pirates. I thought they would always have a pirate themed feeling.
This restaurant is the busiest restaurant in the US and it's at Walt Disney World. Which restaurant is it?
Cosmic Rays.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Cosmic Rays, like what they make in a day, they can pay every single employee at Magic Kingdom.
Yes. Yes.
Just from that one restaurant.
Isn't it
Really?
crazy? I worked at Casey's Corner and we were in constant competition with Cosmic Rays sales and orders and turnover. So I actually knew that because as our role at Casey's, I was put on the, taking orders, and we were like, we had to hit 97 orders in an hour per hour. We were like, yes, we were like, and if you were not fast on it, you would be removed from that role because you had to be that quick and
Just
yeah.
you had to turn the line over.
yes. Oh, I mean, it was constant. So yeah, I knew that about Cosmic Rays because I was like, yeah, I might be at Casey's, at least I'm not at Cosmic Rays.
All right, next question. All of the trash cans in World Showcase at Epcot are brown except for one pavilion. Which pavilion is it?
America.
Yep. And last question, how many lands does Disneyland have?
Oh, like not parks, like freaking lands. Oh, Disneyland.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. We're gonna go. Oh my God. Adventure. Got that. Fantasyland. go. I feel like I'm gonna forget one, so I'm gonna say 6. Is that
Nope.
right? Dang it.
Don, do you know?
I'm gonna say 4.
5?
4? No, it's 9.
What?
Land.
Yeah, it's 9. Yeah. So Main
Okay.
Street USA, Critter Country, Toontown, Fantasyland, Adventureland, Frontierland, New Orleans Square, Tomorrowland, and Galaxy's Edge.
I only heard you say land 4 times.
Oh, well, they all count as lands.
That's crazy.
According
I
to the
forgot-
trivia question.
I'm just
that I
saying, I only
looked
heard
up.
4 lands.
Well, I forget that they always freaking count Main Street. I don't know why they do that. I'm like, it is a land, I guess, but also not really. But, like,
Well, Critter
I
Country.
forgot. Town.
Critter Country is Splash Mountain and Winnie the Pooh. That's all it is.
Oh, is that all that
counts.
it is?
Yeah. Well, there's a
Oh.
store down there.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's not really a land.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Those were good questions.
Honestly, if they retheme Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog, it's in the perfect spot because it's really, they would just extend the New Orleans Square.
Yes, yeah. So is it in both? It's in both?
Well,
DLR?
it's as you walk there, you walk past the Haunted Mansion, and then it kind of on the right, you've got the launch for Tom Sawyer, so they kind of make it country, and then you hit Splash Mountain.
Well,
so they-
I'm saying they're changing Splash Mountain in both. I knew they were confirmed WDW changing
Oh.
Splash Mountain too.
I would assume they would do it both. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
I think they are doing it in both.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
there's any timeline yet. I mean,
No, I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie, I really love Princess and the Frog, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it. It'll be weird to see like a classic ride like that change, because that'll be the first time that's ever happened, like for me personally. But I'm really excited about Princess and the Frog. I just love that movie, I'm not gonna lie.
it'll be interesting to see what they do. And then those poor animatronics at Disneyland, they already got rethemed from America Sings. So this will be their third life.
Oh no, that's funny. Well, that's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now a few questions for you. So how did your Disney journey begin? How did it all start?
Well, it's a really fun story. I was playing softball at Marshall University and I loved it, but I was in a science class and I did not know what they were talking about. I got bored and I applied to the Disney College program, and that's when the ball really got rolling. Within the week, I got a interview, and then I got the phone interview, and within that 2 weeks, I was like, "Oh, I'm moving to Disney World." But before that, I had always loved Disney. I'd been a couple times with my family. And I definitely, like, it was in my bucket list, like, oh, you got to work for Disney World, like just one time. And so I made that happen in a science class. Thank you, Jesus, for taking that and not knowing anything about it. So I worked there, came back to school, went back to work. And I really thought that I was going to have a career at Disney. I really did. I just liked working for the company. I loved talking to people all day. I loved attractions because I worked at Monsters Inc., Laugh Floor, and Carousel of Progress, as well as Casey's, just different programs. And but I started having seizures on stage, and they weren't going to let me work at attractions anymore because of my epilepsy, which is completely fine and understandable, especially ironically talking about old rides. Carousel of Progress is one that doesn't, it has like an emergency stop, but it's really old. So, I mean, it wasn't good for me to stay there. So I came back home, and me and my sister had this crazy idea. We were like, what if we made clothes? And, you know, we got the ball rolling. So I think it's always been a theme in my life. I've always loved Disney vintage. I've always loved going. But when I worked for the company, I learned so much about how to run a business well, how to choose quality over quantity genuinely, and learn how to treat guests and customers and people. And you really appreciate what they do behind the scenes when you just take one traditions class. Literally, that's all it takes for you to be like, oh my gosh, the detail and everything that they do is really beautiful. And so, yeah, my Disney journey is like really long, but I mean, I loved it. I loved working there, and I love what I do now. You know, I'm glad life kind of led me away from working there, because now I get to really do the thing that I love to do, you know.
Nice. So I was going to ask you about your inspiration for your designs. Does that, so it sounds like that attention to detail, is that something you carry with you? So when you're out there, like, is that how you find the inspirations for your different designs?
Oh yeah. I mean, when it comes to, you know, like basis for design, I think me and my other designer who I work with, we get a lot of inspiration from menswear. You know, I feel like a lot of people give menswear crap, but I really think you guys have really dope t-shirts. You know, I have read a book, you know, Bobby Hundreds, with This Is Not a T-Shirt. And just like his background, and if you really look at the skater series era, you know, that really paved the way for streetwear and what it is for men and women currently. So when it comes to certain inspiration, I'll get like a style or I'll see something, but then I take it and I'm like, okay, how do we make it fantasy feelings? And that is attention to detail, very small details that a lot of people wouldn't think to do. And then also I think emotion. I think that we really hone in on something that makes you like, how do you feel when you're on Tower of Terror? How do you feel when you're in Batu? How do you feel, and how do you carry that with you in your everyday life kind of thing? It's like, I want you to feel that magic even when you're away from it, because it has that detail. Like our Batu shirt says, ignite the spark, light the fire. That is language used by the cast members in Batu. And so also a lot of the times we do things for cast members. I knew as a cast member, I would want clothes sometimes that like stuff that I only knew, you know. So we do that a lot, and we'll reach out to a cast member. Like that's how we learned about ignite the spark, light the fire. We were like, we're doing a Batu shirt and we really want to hear what you want. You know, you work there, you open that land, like what is it that you would like to see out of it? So we really carry attention to detail and honestly customer experience. It's incredibly important to me from the moment that you get on the website. It's like, are you ready to get in your fantasy feelings? You got to like make that decision and answer that question getting into the website. And so from there, you know, when you get your package, when it's delivered, the unwrapping is really, you know, we really want you to feel something the whole time. So, yeah, we will never stop doing that for sure.
Nice. Well, I noticed you're doing a decade series now.
Yes.
And so so that's every week you're going to do a new decade.
Yes. So my sister had this idea as well, and she knocked it out of the park. I actually think she was inspired by WandaVision, if I'm being completely honest. I think it came from that. And then also the Imagineering story a little bit. It's like, okay, I think we can do something with like the history of everything. I think she saw the WandaVision and saw how cool the theming was that they would do. And then, she was like, what if we did it for Disney? And then what if we did it like historically? So yeah, we're on the 50s right now. We're designing for the 80s. So we're like, you know how that is, you know, you're ahead, and we did the 50s a while ago. So we did date night, which was this incredible thing to look up. It's just so cool that that's like literally what they would do, and it would only be open to adults. It's just the cutest idea. It's so cool. We did Captain America and Peggy, the Jungle Cruise, which was so fun to list all the jokes that like all of us love to hear over and over again, and the opening day stuff. So yeah, we're on the decades, and I'm excited to see how people feel about it, to like really be taken back to the time that these were opened, you know.
Right. And then so you do a drop calendar, so that's on your website so people know when it's going to come down.
Yeah, so we didn't do it yet, but we are going to post one this weekend because we wanted the decades to be exciting. We wanted to see like Walt in the TV and that graphic and be like, we're going to take you guys through Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel as they happen. You know, we're doing freaking Marvel comics. We're doing it really by the book, you know. So yeah, we do drop calendars, and I just think it helps people prepare for stuff, you know. As sneakerheads, you guys know, sometimes I'll get a calendar and I'm like, this is really helpful because I know I don't want these, I'm just gonna bright purple shoes, but I know I want these light chocolates, and those are happening in the third week. And in a time like this, it's so crazy. Money is not, you know, people just don't always have it to spend. So we want to kind of enable people to plan and prepare for it, especially because I think if you know anything about us, we were inspired by drops from sneakers, like truly from the sneaker game and streetwear. And so we do sudden drops. And I was like, this is sometimes hard on people, especially during quarantine. And I was like, you know, we need to start letting, I think all of us decided we need to start letting people plan a little bit ahead. You know, I'm not really, somebody even said like, oh, I think this 50s will be cool, but I really can't wait for the 70s because that's more my style. So I think giving people that chance to get prepared and also get excited for what's to come is really, really fun.
Right. No, that's cool. So now as a sneakerhead, have you ever made any designs specifically for a shoe? Like, oh, hey, I got this cool pair of shoes. I need something to go with it. I'm gonna pair it.
Yes, but I can't tell you what it is yet. I'm so sorry. Like the one that I'm thinking of is like, I cannot wait to wear with my pine greens. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm very excited, and it's actually dropping. It's a 60s. It's 60s, 100%. So it's gonna be next week, and I am so excited. You know, I'm like going through a green.
Is it the pine green 1.0 or 2.0?
Do you want me to grab it?
Sure.
It's literally.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
So so you got the low with the white side panels and the green trim. So now I've got the 2.0 high tops, which are black and green. Is it going to go with those?
Oh yeah, that would be sick with those. John, we might have to hook you up for sure. It's really.
yeah, I got the 2.0s too.
Do I need to put the red laces in them?
No.
No.
No. If you did a black and green, that's crazy. I promise it will go crazy.
Are we all pulling out our pine green?
So it'll go with these.
Everybody watching.
It's almost a squad shoe.
Yes, I know I didn't get the Michigan vibe, but look at us. Look at us. It will be sick with that. Luckily my designer is also a sneakerhead like me, and we just send stuff back and forth. And so I think she has that mentality too, where she's like, oh, this will look great with this shoe. This will look great with this shoe. So it's really fun. We really play off of each other. So I will just tell you, it's a Haunted Mansion design, and it's really sick.
It's my wife's favorite too. So that's all.
It's really simple, but a statement. It's really dope. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite color palette you like to work with? I mean, I know, like, you know, like when you look at Kanye's stuff, he's got a lot of the neutrals or earth tones. Do you like to bounce around, or do you have things that you?
No, I think, you know, that's wearing color is hard for me unless it's like something like this. When it comes to a t-shirt, I really do stick with like neutrals and white and blacks and white. And then we really started to work with beiges and tans, like what your girlfriend had. And so, or has, sorry. And I love those neutrals because I think they're wearable. You know, you do see a lot of Disney stuff that's like color in your face. And I love color, and I actually like more colorful shoes than I do t-shirts. That's what's funny. I'm kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of weird but I like a statement shoe, which is why I'll have more sometimes of a chill colorway up top. I feel like that's the way I balance things out. So with Fantasy Feelings, you'll see a lot of blacks and white and black, beiges, just wearable out and about, because that's really why we started. So we this green is the most bold we've been in a minute. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see that. Well, I think we need to wrap it up. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us this week. I want to thank everybody for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review. We are now on Apple. Really excited. We finally got that figured out. We are Kicks at the Castle. You can follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to use that hashtag @KicksattheCastle. My name's John. You can find me on Instagram at Weekends with Walt. Irv, who is on Instagram as Main Street Dad. Matt, how can the people hit you up?
You can find me at the Disney Hype Beast, or if you need some shoes, hit me up at TDHB Shop.
And Taylor, how can the people find you?
So you can find me at Fantasy Feelings. There's a ton of underscores in between fantasy and feelings, but you'll see it. And then I'm also Morgan Tailored on Instagram as well. That's my personal. You'll see the other outfits on that one. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate having you. This was fun.
I'm so thankful you guys had me. This has been so fun. It's great to get to know you guys and all that good stuff.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. We're out.
Peace.